Making disciples is no joke. It's tough work, but it doesn't have to be complicated. There's just 3 simple steps to take. Let's talk about it. Barry Smith here, author, husband, father, pastor of 25 years, and a guy who likes things that are simple. I'm not saying they have to be easy, just simple. Why complicate things? No one wants to work harder at anything, especially when it comes to something as important as our faith and making disciples. Because disciple making is no joke. It's tough work for sure, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Starting a simple church or gathering or faith community or Bible study, whatever you want to call it, it's based on the 3 legs of a stool: sharing, knowledge, and application. And each leg or part of the gathering must be equal in importance and time spent. Sharing is the first leg of our gathering. It's the start of every simple church we start. Remember, our overarching goal is for you to start a spiritual family or community with Christ in the center as King, who love God, love others, and make disciples who make disciples. That's the bottom line. Whether you call it a simple church or a Bible study or whatever it is, the more people who become disciple-making disciples, the more successful and effective we are in accomplishing our vision to start a movement of churches across the globe. The first leg is sharing, and that's looking back. We look back on the week, the wins and the struggles, and how we applied the scriptures from the previous week. We'll spend most of our time today on this leg. The second leg is knowledge, or looking up. This is where we look up to God and dive into the scriptures by asking 4 important questions. The next video will explain all that. The third leg is application, or looking ahead. It clearly doesn't do any good to study the scriptures if we aren't going to look ahead and apply its knowledge to our lives. Now, many established churches spend a lot of time on knowledge. They're incredibly effective at it, and that's great. And some of them are good at application, making the Bible come to life in a practical way today. But sharing, this is the leg of the simple church model that most churches, including churches I've previously worked at over my 20-plus years of ministry experience, they're just not effective at it. And to their defense, how can you get a crowd of 300-plus or 3,000-plus people that are in a service to all share something? There's not enough time in a day to do that, certainly not in the service to do that, and it would be insanely awkward. Not to mention, very few people are willing to share personal information with their own friends, let alone a massive group of strangers. And that's why many American churches especially have an out-of-balance stool. They don't spend an equal amount of time on sharing. It's why our simple church model is so effective and full of disciples who make disciples. And it's why I've devoted the last leg of my life to making them happen all over the world. You see, in a YouChoose Simple Church gathering, we take 40 minutes for each leg of the stool, starting with sharing. Now, you can make it 20 to 40 minutes for each leg. It doesn't matter, but what we found is that 40 minutes for each leg is optimal. So here's what the sharing leg might look like specifically. After a time of snacks or refreshments, not included in the 40 minutes, you could circle up together and spend about 10 to 15 minutes catching up with everyone. It's important to be able to see each other so that you can interact. Then share a story from the previous week. It might be an answered prayer, or maybe I'll ask, what wins did you have this week? Or is anyone struggling with something this week? You've got to keep an eye on the clock because this can turn into a real dump session and take a long time. A positive question to get things going might be this: how has everyone's personal relationship with God been this week? Or maybe, what are you thankful for this week? The main point is to get everyone to open up. It's the caring part of our time together because each person matters. Then, most importantly, spend 15 to 20 minutes doing a checkup on last week's application. You pull out the list from the previous week and have everyone report on how they did obeying what they learned from the previous week's scripture during the application time, the third leg of the gathering. If God didn't lead the person to do something last week, then who did they share the scripture with from the previous week? Or did they share the gospel or their own story, their testimony with anyone this week? We'll talk about the specifics in the application video. Then we spend less than 5 minutes casting a little vision. Very simple. Share a Bible story, a slogan, a media article, a song, or anything else that would encourage the group to share Jesus with others, to start a new group, or help someone else start a new group. The idea is to cause them to realize that your gathering is just a small part of something much bigger than just your group. That there are over 2 million of these churches meeting all over the world, just like yours, and they're all being started, more and more of them, every single day. Then you say a quick prayer, and then you begin with the knowledge part, the knowledge leg. And we'll get into that in the next video, where I'll explain the questions that we ask to really make the Bible come to life before we seek God in the final application leg. And as always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. It helps us get the word out there. I'd really appreciate it. Smash that button and subscribe to this channel. And if you like our stuff, consider supporting us with a tip on PayPal or a tax-deductible donation at YouChoose.Community. The links are below. So right now, go ahead and hit that thumbs up and share this thing, because no doubt someone you know probably needs to hear this. And if you'd like to talk about starting your own simple church or faith community, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, God bless.